I think I got it. A little fun. Boy, it's a nice day in Washington today. It's probably going to be in the 70s, maybe even upper 70s. And that's pretty nice. It may rain a little bit, they say, but who cares? See that World War II memorial behind us? That's what's over there. But I wanted to just give a last shout out for we extended the grant, the personal grant we give out. 30 people receive personal grant if you're a member of Let's Go Help. And we do this every month. We give about $20,000 away. And we usually end it on the 4th of the month, so the 4th of October. But because it's mostly on Facebook, Facebook was down, so we extended it. So you still have till the end of today to apply for that $1,000 personal grant. And all you have to do is give us a few sentences on what you would do with $1,000. So that's, I think, it's the easiest grant in America. And also what's important about it is that it's a training grant. It's a way to get used to applying for stuff. So this is an easy one to apply for. So you start learning what grants are all about and how free money and help. A lot of people are embarrassed to ask, or they think there's something bad if they ask for help. And I grew up sort of that way too, but boy, this democracy really gives out money to help people. And just like if it was a tax break. So they're really tax breaks, because tax breaks come from the Treasury. So if you get a break to write off your interest rate on your mortgage, that's really coming from the Treasury to pay it for you. Otherwise, you'd be paying the X percent or whatever that you should be paying in taxes. But that's why the rich people get tax breaks, and they take advantage of stuff and take money out of the Treasury that would have gone in the Treasury but goes to them because of this tax break. So this is another way, for people who don't have money to get money back from the government, is through grants. So that's why if you're more wealthy people get it back from tax breaks, and they're getting a hell of a lot back. And so if you're ashamed, you really shouldn't be. But I understand and respect if you don't want to. I mean, that's a personal choice, and I respect that. But to let you know that this is how... Hey, how'd you know? This is to let you know how government gives money out to people who live here, and to make our society better or improve their lot in life. So we're helping rich people be better, and we're helping poor people be better. And we do the rich people through tax breaks to give them money, and we do it for the less, middle class and everybody else through grants. And tell you the truth, only about 12% of the money that the government gives out in grants has any income requirements. So that's why the rich people, anybody could apply for these grants too. Of course, not all of them. Some have income requirements, but that's how it gets out to people, people who need it. And, I'm not smart enough to understand the economics of all this kind of stuff. I just know it's there. People are applying for it. You can apply for it as long as you live here. You don't even have to be a citizen for a lot of these things. Just to know about them, and you'll never apply for them if you don't know about them. So really the trick is to, I think, to realize this is another form of tax breaks. Hi. Let me introduce you to a friend of mine who I haven't seen.
How are you?
She's an incredible artist. How you doing?
Good, nice to see you. You look glam as
Wonderful.
always.
See you. Yeah. Thank you. Bye. And so it's the tax breaks that are available to everybody. And so the grants are available to anybody. So if you're not afraid of taking a tax break, you should not be afraid of taking a grant. Maybe I'll do a separate video on that, about how tax breaks are just like grants, because they are in my mind. There's something that, that we're deciding that the government should pay for these kinds of things. So to encourage something. So we don't want people to be poor, and we give money that way. We want people to get educated, we give money that way. We want people to not go to jail for not paying their bills, and we give money that way. And we want people to buy new houses, and we give money that way. So it's all how the vehicle. And so to me, when people say they're taking money from the government by doing grants, well, to me, tax deductions are the same thing. So they're taking money from the government by doing a tax deduction. And that's what we have to realize, that these are all something that, we as a society vote for people to make up these rules. I guess that's called democracy, and some do it better than others, So I sort of see it as just tools, or possible tools, that you have available by living in this country that you could take advantage of, whether they're tax breaks or grants. And just like there are requirements for tax breaks, there are requirements for grants. So what's the difference? You have to learn that to take advantage of it. So that's why I think everybody, the rich people hire accountants to figure out their tax breaks. So I could say, you got me. Help you figure out your grant breaks. And they're all being paid for by tax dollars. So you're paying your tax dollars to give a fat cat a tax break out of your money. That's what they're doing. Because otherwise that money would be in the Treasury to do something else. So they're taking the money out of the Treasury and give it there, because they already passed laws that would put this money into the Treasury. So they're passing another law to stop it going in. So coming out of the Treasury. So it's the same with the grants. So these are laws that were passed, and that's what we have elected officials to do, to decide what kind of laws we want and to be able to pass them on to solve problems in our society. That's why I live downtown now, and I see we're really in a neighborhood. The whole country is a neighborhood, and we have to live with each other. And the more we think of that, I think the easier it is. But it's hard. I know it's hard for me too. But I don't know. You got to start somewhere. And one thing is start taking care of yourself. And so there's programs to help you take care of yourself, where there are tax breaks, but you have to earn income to have those programs, right? So instead of that, for poor people that have no incomes, you can't use the tax system. Oh, actually you can. Now for earned income tax credit and child tax credit, you don't have to have income for those. So these are big bonuses to people without a lot of money. So if you have children, or even if you don't have children, and you're not making a lot of money, you could get a child tax credit. If you have a child, you get lots. If you don't have a child, it's only like up to $1,500, I think, this year. So that's a chunk of change. That's bigger than the grants we're giving out. So that's important for you to know about those. How do you find out about them? Well, you want the two things: child tax credit and earned income tax credit. So they're the two things you could get grants from the government and not have any, and not owe any taxes. So that's important, because most tax refunds or tax deductions are, you have to pay taxes, right? So these are deductions, but they're actually grants. They're closer to a grant because you don't have to pay taxes. So the tax breaks let rich people off the hook for not paying a share of taxes, and so using the tax system to get that money to people who are less fortunate and have less money. And so there's two words you want to know: earned income tax credit and child tax credit. Okay, those two programs, you want to figure them out. If you don't know how, then just go to 211.org or findhelp.org. Okay, those two, and ask where to get free tax help. If that doesn't work, then what you do is you go to your public library, call them. They usually have a staff now, and a lot of them are starting to open again. And they can hook you up with something for free to figure that out. Yeah. And there's other nonprofits in your area to help you figure those out. Earned income tax credit, child tax credit, even if you don't have a child. There's money, a child tax credit for money with no children. You don't get as much money, but you get something. And that's not right now. It's, I think, last year was $500. This year is going to be $1,500, or it's $600 and 15. I don't know, but it's significant. So you want to make sure you get that money. But you can't make a lot of money on that one. You know, if you have no children. If you do have children, you can make a lot of money and still get that money. So no taxes or with taxes, you still want the earned income tax credit and the child tax credit. And that's a benefit of the day. Did you see the video I just did about those cities that will give you money to move there? That's right. And these cities are particularly attractive to, if you can't find a job or it's too expensive where you live. Man, look at there, you get $10,000, $15,000 to move into these cities. Yeah. Wow, they just want people. And also what I did in the video, you take a look, it shows you how to get a job in that city too. So if you're looking for a job, and here's another interesting thing, I think, a way to do this. Not only get a job, but you call these people up, and I give you the place to call, the website, how to find the local office in that city that has free money for training. So if some city's going to give you 10 grand or something to move there, that could get you by for a few months. You go to the free job training site that I have in there, and they give you money to train for a better job that's needed in that city. See, that's why the government gets money to train people for jobs they can't fill. Yeah. So that's why you want to go to your local Career One Stop, find the office that gets job training money to train jobs for people who the companies want to hire. See, the companies use the government to train people so they can hire them. They don't have to do the training. See? And that's what the government does while you go into college. They pay you, well, actually you're doing it because you're getting a loan, to hire people to work and be skilled and make good money and pay taxes. But to give employers money, I mean, now employers train people. That's why they have trouble hiring people. There's not enough trained people out there in different things. So you could get training for, nothing. Train for a skill that's in demand, so it's easy to get a job, and you get a bonus of $10,000 of doing it in some other city that seems maybe nicer and lower standard of living, particularly if you're in a large metropolitan area. You go to these other cities and live for a fraction of what you pay here. I know my son lives out in the middle of nowhere in Maryland, and rent, everything is so much. It's a fraction of what he would do. And he works remotely, so it doesn't matter where he is. And it's a hell of a lot nice living to me. Why suffer through all this stuff and pay all these high prices for what? Particularly if you don't have money, then you're scraping by every day. So you go to a city that has, less people, a lot less income to be happy there, and they train you for a better job than you have now. Wow, That's a win-win-win, isn't it? Everybody wins. You're on an upward path now. You're out of the hole. I mean, it's going to take work on your part, of course. It doesn't happen. But it's something, instead of going around in circles, this is a step forward and a bigger possibility. Particularly if nothing has happened in the last 2 years or something for you. Yeah, look for other options that sound nice. Get on the phone, call these career one-stop centers all over the country. There's a link in the bottom of all the cities that do this. So start calling those cities and ask them about, hey, can I get training if I come to town for a job that is hiring, in-demand jobs, and I train for that. You can do that in your city now too, and that's what they do. But they're not giving you an extra 10 grand to live on, and that's the thing. But you can and do that. Your community college has those opportunities too, because they get money from the government and from industry to pay for training people who the industry wants to hire. So there's a hell of a good chance you'll get a job after the training, and a higher paying job than you're likely to have now, and that's the key. Yeah. And you need skills to be able to work a lot. You just can't get it with a pretty smile unless you're a hooker or something. That's a different industry. But you can do that. And that's what this country still has in my mind. And besides putting up with that idiot who likes to dress like a clown all day. A lot of countries, nobody would talk to me. There's here too. No, nobody will talk to me. They ignore me. And they just don't know what to say. They smile underneath their glasses. I could tell. But it's fun. And that's it, because life is so difficult, I feel, that you gotta have fun. So if you're not having fun, man, it's gonna be drudgery to get through this, and that's why people check out earlier. And so try to create stuff for yourself. Nobody's going to create stuff for you. And what I'm trying to do is show you the tools that are out there to maybe start creating stuff for yourself. But you got to learn to use those tools, because they're not going to come and knock on your door to teach you one-on-one. You got to go out and stumble and fail and do all that kind of stuff to try to learn this stuff. Because we all living longer than we ever thought. At least I am. 78 years old. I mean, my grandparents all died in the 60s. So living almost to 80 sounded like Mars. But I'm still going. I figure I have 10, 15, 20 years maybe. And feel healthy enough to keep going. And now at my age, I just want to give as much as I can. That's sort of nicest feeling. So that's why if you get a new skill that you could contribute and give to people, with that new skill, whatever it is, and do it honorably. Man, what could be better than that? And that creates, I think, the softness in your heart to be open-hearted, and then more people could love you that way, I think. It's, people want to love other people. It's trying to be lovable is the hard part. And I think the more satisfied you are, the more you can be lovable, and open-hearted. That's why in my 50s or so, I was like, well, what am I going to work on after that? I said, well, I'm going to say, how do I be more open-hearted? Because that's, I think, the only thing we can get better at as we get age. I can't walk as fast. I can't even run anymore. A lot of things I can't do because of age. Your body doesn't get stronger, it gets weaker. That's why they want seniors to get the vaccines, because they're more likely to die if they get it. But there's one thing you can grow, and that's your heart. And that's what I think is a wonderful part of aging, at least for me, is trying to figure out how to grow this heart. So let me grow my heart with you guys, by helping you as much as I can. And tonight we have the October 4th deadline is now October 5th, and it's the last time, midnight tonight is the last time you could apply for this grant. Then you'll have to apply for the next one. Okay. And I'll still be here, I'm sure. Pardon me?
Macy's store
Who?
is Macy's.
Mercy?
Macy's store.
Oh, Macy's.
Yes.
That way. It's
That
quite.
way?
Yeah, it's quite a ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that way is 19th Street and you usually be on. So go that
Yeah,
way.
that's the lower numbers. Macy's is like 7th Street or something like that. Yeah.
13th Street.
13. Yeah. See, that's
Okay.
19. Now you're going to run into the White House, so you have to go around the White House.
Okay.
That's just a block up and over. Don't worry.
Alright.
You're going to do it with this? You're going to do it with this? Oh, good for you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, oh, what was I saying? I forgot. I guess it wasn't too important. But to apply, and then next month we'll start another one. We'll give out $20,000 again, and give us a week or two. It's probably, Facebook was closed all yesterday. That's why we extended it for a day, and it takes a while to process all the applications. Then we have a panel to decide who. So that takes a week and a half usually before we start sending out checks. Okay, so check it out so you could get a check. Well, actually we use PayPal and electronics and stuff. Talk to you soon.